She felt so worthless. She felt disgusting. Who could ever look with envy at someone so low, so base, that her own parents felt the need to break the law in order to change her? Everyone. Some part of Malkia realized that, in the end, this didn't change the events of the last few years. Everyone she had proven herself better than, she was still better than. Slowly, she stood up straight, looked her father in the eye, ignoring the burning sensation, and told him, "There is nothing about me that needs to be changed, and if you can't see that, well then, you are either blind or stupid. I mean seriously, I am me." The man in the guise of her father was taken aback. "But, Malkia." "No, father. No buts. Whatever you think is wrong with me can either be fixed by me alone, or isn't worth fixing. Now, move along. I have a testing to finish." Her father vanished, leaving her slightly relieved, until he was replaced by his torrent of water. What am I, a hydromancer? She didn't know why this, of all things, was the third step of a psychomancer's testing, until the water ceased to stop. It pounded and pounded at her face, at her eyes and mouth, leaving her unable to breathe. She struggled to find something somewhere in the room where there was no blasted water, but the liquid was being sprayed everywhere, not enough to knock her down, but just enough to make it impossible to get more than a few desperate grasps for air in. "They won't kill me," she thought, to fend off the growing feeling of panic. "I've heard of this before. They'll let my body think I'm going to drown, but they won't actually do it." That thought seemed to be convincing, right? Her eyes were kept clenched to avoid both the light and the water. Maybe she could open them long enough to find the source. That very quickly proved to be a stupid idea. Think. Don't let them make you panic. Think. The water stopped. Then the fire came. She could feel its heat, licking at her fingers just enough to cause pain, just enough to cause her to flinch. She could hear its roar. At this point, she was smart enough not to open her eyes again, a fact she considered increasingly inconvenient as she felt the ceiling immediately behind her starting to creak. The fire was growing louder, its heat growing hotter, getting ever closer. She should move to the side, but which side? Where was the flame? Where was it coming from? Where was it going? I don't know. Should she look? No, that is exactly what this was about. They wanted her eyes to hurt again. They wanted her head to ache in that frustrating way that wasn't exactly excruciating, but was somehow worse, as the body didn't get used to it. Instead, the mind focused on getting it to stop, but it didn't stop, just distracted and ruined and drove her slowly mad. "They won't kill me. They'll just trick me into killing myself. This is the insane god's test. Everything they throw at me is to scare me, to confuse me, to get me to open my eyes, but above all to drive me as insane as he is. As long as I understand that, there's nothing they can do to me." Malkia left the testing room a mere half-hour later, though it felt much longer. Much longer. Not that she'd ever admit it. Rather, to the other psychomancers and masters and untested waiting to be tested, she merely smiled and asked who would be foolish enough to consider that ordeal testing. As Sven rolled his eyes while simultaneously smiling, her mind wandered back to a revelation about her parents. Malkia did not leave such grievances unconfronted.